Feeling a change after decades together? You're not alone. Discover the surprising, practical reasons wives grow distant and what you can do before it's too late. In numerous long-standing marriages, a concerning pattern often emerges: the gradual erosion of truly meaningful communication between spouses. What once were vibrant, heartfelt exchanges about life's joys and sorrows can sadly dwindle into perfunctory, routine interactions. This slow, almost imperceptible decline in conversational depth frequently leaves wives feeling particularly isolated and emotionally adrift within the relationship. They may begin to perceive their voices as unheard, their thoughtfully expressed perspectives seemingly unacknowledged within the marital dynamic. A pervasive silence can then settle into the relationship, creating an invisible yet formidable barrier to genuine intimacy and connection. Daily conversations might become predominantly transactional, centered on mundane logistics rather than fostering emotional connection or mutual understanding. This profound shift can result in a wife feeling increasingly unseen, as though her inner world and personal experiences no longer hold significance. Her dedicated contributions to the marriage, both tangible and deeply emotional, may go unmentioned, cultivating a painful sense of being unappreciated. The critical absence of substantive dialogue means that shared life experiences are no longer processed collaboratively, thereby weakening the essential marital bond. She might find herself yearning for earlier times when her partner actively sought her counsel or openly shared his own vulnerabilities with her. Instead, she often encounters a quietude that can be easily misinterpreted as indifference, disinterest, or a fundamental lack of care from her spouse. It is important to recognize that this communication breakdown is seldom an intentional act at its inception, frequently developing unnoticed over many years. The relentless demands of life, evolving career pressures, and even the comfortable, familiar rhythm of long-term companionship can inadvertently contribute to this divide. Over decades, assumptions can solidify, leading partners to mistakenly believe they inherently know what the other thinks or feels without needing to ask. Such ingrained presumptions unfortunately stifle the ongoing need for genuine curiosity and active discovery within the enduring fabric of the relationship. For many women, the emotional heartbeat of their marriage is profoundly nurtured through consistent, shared verbal intimacy and empathetic, responsive understanding. When this vital channel of connection becomes constricted or falls completely silent, a significant and palpable void is created in her daily experience. She may feel profoundly unheard, her earnest attempts to connect met with only brief, superficial responses or a visibly disengaged, distracted presence. This persistent lack of reciprocal engagement can cultivate deep feelings of loneliness, an isolating experience even when partners are physically present together. The foundational element of mutual appreciation, once a strong and reliable cornerstone of the relationship, can appear to erode under this growing silence. Consequently, she might begin to question her intrinsic value within the partnership, wondering if her presence and myriad efforts are still truly cherished. The once vibrant and richly woven tapestry of shared thoughts, cherished dreams, and collaboratively built future plans can unfortunately fade into a more solitary existence. This communication void does not merely affect one partner in isolation. It invariably and significantly impacts the overall health and stability of the entire marriage. The cherished partnership can gradually begin to feel less like a dynamic, supportive team and more like two separate individuals merely coexisting under one roof. Emotional distance inevitably widens when essential words of affirmation, expressions of empathy, and demonstrations of genuine interest become scarce commodities within the home. The powerful, unifying feeling of being a cohesive team, confidently navigating life's myriad challenges together, can significantly diminish without open, honest dialogue. Unspoken resentment, a corrosive emotion, may then begin to accumulate quietly, further poisoning the atmosphere and eroding trust between husband and wife. Addressing this deeply rooted communication deficit requires considerable courage, sustained patience, and a renewed mutual commitment to rekindle meaningful, authentic connection. It involves the crucial recognition that even long-established, deeply ingrained patterns of interaction can indeed be changed with deliberate, sustained, and collaborative effort. The deceptive comfort of established routine should never be mistaken for genuine, vibrant connection a distinction absolutely vital for long-term marital well-being. Many wives find themselves shouldering the immense emotional labor of attempting to bridge this widening communication gap, often feeling utterly exhausted by the unreciprocated effort. Their sincere attempts to initiate more profound conversations might sometimes be misinterpreted or dismissed, further discouraging their vital efforts to truly reconnect. The rich, extensive history shared by a couple, filled with countless precious memories, can paradoxically become a source of pain if current interactions lack depth. Vivid memories of past closeness and seemingly effortless communication can starkly contrast with the present, challenging reality of diminished verbal and emotional intimacy. This pervasive phenomenon is certainly not unique to any one couple, affecting many who have navigated several decades of life's intricate journey together. Understanding that this communication decline is a common marital challenge can be an empowering first step toward proactively seeking effective, lasting solutions. The fundamental human desire to be truly seen, genuinely heard, and sincerely appreciated remains paramount within the sacred and intimate context of any marriage. When these core emotional needs consistently go unmet within a marriage, the very fabric and enduring foundation of the union can be seriously threatened. Rebuilding these essential bridges of open communication is absolutely critical for restoring vitality, joy, and profound mutual fulfillment in the later years of life. It ultimately requires a conscious, intentional turning towards one another, coupled with a renewed willingness to listen deeply and share authentically once more. The challenge of unequally distributed household labor is a quiet but persistent undercurrent in many long-term relationships. It often begins subtly, with unspoken assumptions guiding the division of daily tasks early in a partnership. Over many years, these initial patterns solidify, becoming deeply ingrained habits that are seldom questioned or reevaluated. Frequently, this division aligns with traditional gender roles, where one partner assumes primary responsibility for the home's upkeep. This can occur even when both partners have pursued careers, leading to the well-documented second shift phenomenon. Household responsibilities themselves are characterized by their relentless and often invisible nature, demanding constant attention. They encompass a wide array of duties, from daily meal preparation and cleanup to laundry and maintaining order. These tasks are fundamental to a comfortable home environment, yet the effort involved is frequently underestimated or ignored. The cyclical quality of housework means it is a job without end, offering little sense of final accomplishment. This continuous demand requires constant vigilance and can feel like an unending burden for one individual. Beyond physical chores lies the significant mental load. Planning, organizing, remembering, and delegating household tasks effectively. This cognitive labor is often unseen, but contributes substantially to the overall burden carried by one partner. The transition to retirement, often anticipated for shared leisure, can paradoxically exacerbate these existing imbalances in workload. Expectations that roles will naturally recalibrate with increased time at home frequently prove to be an illusion. Instead, established patterns of household labor may become even more pronounced, continuing previous unequal distributions. The partner who historically managed the home often continues, perhaps more intensely, with both now present. Assumptions that a newly retired partner will spontaneously share more tasks can lead to profound disappointment. Increased proximity and shared time at home can throw the disparity into sharper relief, making inequity palpable. Over decades, this perceived unfairness in labor division slowly cultivates a deep and corrosive resentment within relationships. This is not an overnight phenomenon, but a gradual accumulation of instances of feeling undervalued or overburdened. The partner carrying the disproportionate load may feel their contributions are invisible and their time less valued. This perceived lack of appreciation can erode affection, diminish mutual respect, and create an emotional chasm. Expressing these feelings becomes difficult, especially if past attempts were met with defensiveness or dismissal by partners. A painful silence may develop, allowing resentment to fester and grow, damaging the relationship from within. Chronic stress from an imbalanced workload significantly impacts individual well-being, both mentally and physically over time. Constant fatigue, persistent frustration, and a diminished sense of personal autonomy can take a heavy toll. For older adults, the physical demands of most household chores can become increasingly strenuous and detrimental. This ongoing disparity inevitably strains marital satisfaction, creating tension that diminishes shared joy and warm companionship. The foundation of partnership, built on mutual support, is weakened when one partner consistently feels unfairly burdened. Addressing this deeply entrenched issue presents considerable communication challenges, especially after many years of established dynamics. Initiating conversations about imbalance can be difficult, potentially perceived as nagging or as unfair, pointed criticism. Unspoken expectations and long-held assumptions often lie at the core of the misunderstanding between partners. Fear of instigating conflict or upsetting a delicate equilibrium can lead to continued avoidance, worsening the problem. Meaningful dialogue requires empathy, a genuine willingness to listen without judgment, and a shared commitment to fairness. The roots of these imbalances often lie in historical and societal contexts that shaped early expectations. Traditional gender roles, learned over a lifetime, historically assigned most domestic responsibilities primarily to women. Many older adults matured when these divisions were more rigidly defined and less frequently questioned publicly. While societal norms have evolved, these early imprints can still unconsciously influence current household dynamics. Acknowledging historical influences helps understand current patterns, a crucial step toward conscious, positive change. In later life, consequences of this long-standing inequity can become particularly acute and deeply poignant. Health or mobility changes may necessitate significant reevaluation of how household tasks are managed and shared. If one partner always managed the home, the other may feel unprepared if circumstances suddenly change. The aspiration for a peaceful, harmonious retirement can be severely undermined by unresolved conflicts over fairness. Bitterness from lifelong resentment can tragically overshadow the potential joys and comforts of these later years. In some unfortunate instances, this unresolved inequity contributes to late-life marital dissatisfaction or even separation. Moving towards equitable labor distribution fosters a deeper sense of partnership and profound mutual respect. This journey begins by acknowledging all contributions, tangible and intangible, each partner makes to the household. Open, honest, compassionate conversations about individual needs, expectations, and perceived fairness are absolutely paramount. A genuine willingness to renegotiate roles, especially in retirement, is essential for positive and lasting change. Sharing tasks more equitably can cultivate a stronger sense of teamwork, shared purpose, and mutual appreciation. When both partners feel their efforts are seen, valued, and reciprocated, the emotional bond is strengthened. This enhances the overall quality of their shared life together, fostering deeper connection and happiness. Sometimes, seeking guidance from a counselor can provide a neutral space for these vital discussions. The goal is not perfect mathematical division, but a mutually agreed balance feeling fair to both individuals. This rebalancing can rejuvenate a relationship, leading to a more fulfilling, supportive partnership in later years. Ultimately, a strong, enduring partnership thrives when both individuals feel deeply valued, respected, and consistently supported. The experience of feeling invisible is a deeply troubling issue, particularly for many women in our society. It often stems from a persistent, corrosive pattern of not being truly heard or genuinely appreciated by others. When an individual's thoughts and emotions are consistently disregarded, a profound sense of alienation can unfortunately develop. This is not about isolated incidents of misunderstanding, but a sustained environment where one's inner world seems insignificant. The failure to be heard can manifest in numerous, often subtle yet impactful ways in daily interactions. It might be the constant interruption when attempting to speak, signaling one's contribution is not fully valued. It could be the overt dismissal of expressed opinions, perhaps with condescending remarks or complete lack of engagement. Ideas presented by women may be ignored, only acknowledged when later voiced by a male counterpart. This repeated invalidation sends a clear, disheartening message. Your unique perspective is not considered important enough. Similarly, a lack of appreciation for one's emotional landscape can be profoundly damaging to self-worth. When feelings are brushed aside as oversensitivity or irrationality, it denies the legitimacy of those emotional experiences. Women may find their concerns, fears, or even joys met with indifference or noticeable impatience from others. This emotional neglect creates an environment where vulnerability is punished rather than met with understanding or support. Such an atmosphere fosters a sense of deep emotional isolation, making genuine connection increasingly difficult to achieve. Over time, these negative experiences accumulate, like layers of sediment, pressing down on an individual's spirit. The cumulative effect is not merely fleeting frustration, but a growing conviction that one's presence is inconsequential. This can severely erode self-esteem and foster a pervasive, lingering sense of worthlessness over the years. The individual may begin to question their own perceptions, their intrinsic value, and their right to exist. In response to such an unwelcoming environment, emotional withdrawal often becomes a necessary, albeit painful, coping mechanism. If expressing oneself leads to dismissal or derision, then silence can feel like the only available refuge. This withdrawal is not a sign of disinterest, but a protective measure against further hurt and invalidation. It is a retreat inward when the external world offers no safe harbor for one's authentic self. Emotional retreat can manifest as reduced communication, a reluctance to share personal thoughts or deep feelings. It may also lead to disengagement from relationships or activities that were once meaningful and brought joy. Intimacy suffers as genuine connection requires mutual vulnerability and validation, which have been consistently denied. The vibrant inner life of an individual may become muted, hidden from view, leading to quiet sorrow. The ultimate outcome of this persistent negation is a profound, unsettling feeling of complete invisibility to others. It is the distressing sensation of being present yet unseen, of speaking yet remaining entirely unheard. It is as if one is a ghost in their own life, lacking discernible impact or acknowledgement. This pervasive sense of not mattering can be one of the most painful human experiences to endure. For many older women, this phenomenon can be compounded by a lifetime of societal conditioning and expectations. They may have navigated decades where their voices were systematically marginalized in professional and personal spheres. The fight for recognition might have been a long, exhausting one, making withdrawal seem a rational response. Furthermore, ageism can unfortunately intersect with these pre-existing patterns, adding another layer of difficulty. As women age, they may find their experiences and wisdom dismissed due to prevailing stereotypes about aging. Their genuine concerns about health or finances might not be taken seriously, reinforcing feelings of being overlooked. Transitions into later life, such as retirement or widowhood, can also shift social roles quite significantly. If not navigated with support and validation, these changes can intensify feelings of invisibility and isolation. The psychological toll of sustained invisibility is significant, impacting mental well-being in serious ways. It can contribute to anxiety, depression, and a chronic sense of loneliness, even when among others. The constant effort of trying to be seen or resigning to being unseen is emotionally draining. This internal burden can also manifest in physical health issues as chronic stress impacts the body. Recognizing this destructive pattern is the crucial first step toward addressing its pervasive and harmful effects. It requires a conscious effort from others to listen actively, validate emotions, and appreciate diverse perspectives. For women experiencing this, acknowledging their feelings and seeking environments offering recognition can be crucial. The fundamental human need to be seen, heard, and valued is essential to overall well-being. The issue of women feeling unheard, leading to withdrawal, is not a trivial or minor matter. It speaks to a systemic failure in how we value and interact with one another in society. Cultivating environments where every individual feels genuinely seen and acknowledged is essential for a compassionate society. The silence that results from this pervasive invisibility represents a profound loss for everyone involved.